Include now. Brought to you by Even Break.
Hello and welcome to a special episode where you will be able to get to me and get to know the host of Include Now. I'm Adam Hyland.
And I'm Joshua.
With so Josh, Include Now is our new podcast from a mega really exciting. I guess in this episode we just want to kick back and chill out and get to know each other and, well, I should say, allow the viewers to get to know us a bit better.
Yeah, of course.
So we're going to get up close and personal, Josh.
Up close and
Indeed.
personal, are we? Okay, cool.
And we're going to fire some questions at each other, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So let's get to know each other a bit more. For viewers, I will kick off if that's okay. So first question is, what football team do you support?
I am a massive football fan, and I support West Ham. And sometimes that's a positive, but there's also quite a lot of the time that that's not so positive. Because I've got quite a lot of friends that that I suppose you would say support more successful teams, so that when they end up playing each other, it's very often that that like I'm on the losing end of that losing end of the game. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that currently you're having the hardest time supporting Man United today.
Yeah, thank you for that reminder. Yeah,
That's okay.
I'm a United fan and it's not our decade, that's okay. Before I get more sad about the state of Manchester United moving on.
That's true. Okay.
Moving on to non-football questions.
Sure. So, well, because it's never right to judge any person, but because I depending on what a person chooses for their karaoke song, that's quite a good indicator of the type of person that they are. So what's your go-to?
Well, I can't sing for my life.
Same here.
But I think my go-to karaoke is Robbie Williams' Angels.
Because I feel that that's an absolute classic, where the more, I'm trying to think of a correct word here, the more lively the crowd becomes, that's like the perfect way to include those people
Yeah.
as well.
I think luckily most people weren't listening to this thing, so I think that's really bad. What about you? What's your karaoke go-to?
When I'm like a performing, like on my own, my normal go to is living on a prayer because
Or
like I just so that the crowd can like also sing too. But recently, when I was in Greece, my friend and I performed um, summer loving from Greece. Yeah.
I can get you in international. Check it out. TV. Okay, so you've been in Edinburgh for 2 years, I think you said before.
Yes.
What is the best thing that you find about working at Edinburgh?
Well, because I think the like opportunities to just try a lot that comes our ways. So before working here, so I used to work at at a SCM primary, and as much as I really enjoyed the role, there wasn't that much career progression unless you wanted to become a teacher, and and that certainly wasn't something that I wanted to move towards. So coming here because I get the opportunity to work on a podcast, I had the chance to go to conferences and the chance to talk to our candidates too, because I've sort of worked quite a lot alongside our marketing team too. There's a chance we're currently co-leading a push that's tied to universities too. So I I would say for myself that it's the opportunity to continuously grow, plus also really putting myself out of my comfort zone with quite a lot of the opportunities that come up too.
I want to build up on that a bit, if that's okay.
Of course.
Because earlier you said in a conversation that you didn't think a year ago you'd be hosting a podcast. I guess I want to dive into why you think I was and how you're feeling about sitting here,
yes,
having hosted the podcast.
Yeah. So I think it's a case that because growing up, there's not really a lot of representation on the telly where you can hear someone that talks like me, and and the couple of times they often portray that character as quite nervous verse, or it's used for a comedy purpose. Like, because I'm certainly not someone that takes it to heart, or like nothing like that. But I think the lack of sort of representation, like you kind of create something up where you're thinking that's the only purpose for those type of characters too. Like, and to not get sort of too serious, but like, because I think it's a thing of where you're kind of sat there not talking in a way that the world and society would class like as the normal way to talk, and so that kind of causes certain like things to crop up, but like kind of what we will talk on the podcast, like in terms of an inclusion journey, because I think there's certainly a personal inclusion journey where because I'm turning up to opportunities as my authentic person, like because I'm certainly not for every person, like, but I wanted to take the podcast opportunity because I think it also ties into what we're trying to tell the people listening to, like that it is time to include now, and it's like it's time to concentrate on what that person is telling you rather than how that person is telling you. So it also ties into the previous question where like I'm really grateful for the opportunity, like, and I'm very confident that over time, like, it will become a lot more natural.
I'm really excited to see the afterthoughts, that's for sure.
Like, and just to kind of return that to, because you've worked in inclusion for a lot longer, like than what I have. So what kind of created the journey for you as well?
How long we got? I think I actually I studied computing at university,
Okay.
and then decided I didn't want more computers ever again. And actually, what I realised excited me was people,
Mm-hmm.
and being around people of all different diversity, different lived experience, all kind of walks of life, and even people to have an equitable opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got involved in disvisualized because obviously I had lived experience experience barriers. I have friends that experience barriers. I think I'm not very patient, so waiting for society to get better about including instant memories
Mm-hmm.
seems to be way off in the future. I didn't want to have to wait that long, so I thought I'd get involved in campaigning. I worked in unions. I worked for a company who specialised in assistive technology and other inclusion initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now here at Even Break, which is exciting. And it's just working with people and getting people to understand that actually difference isn't, in inverted commas, normal.
Mm-hmm.
The whole world is rich with diversity.
Yeah.
So I think trying to get that message across that society has been set up in a way that caters for some people. If you fit into a certain mold, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
Because everyone's so different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just changing society's attitudes and structures is what has led me to kind of get here today, really.
Nice, because I just wanted to touch on the point that you said, like you're not a very patient person. So I wanted to ask then, like at the point when you're just about to retire, what's the part? So like, what's that one thing that you hope to, like, I suppose, what do you hope that your inclusion legacy is?
Oh God, that's huge. Bad news is I'm not retiring anytime soon. I think when I do retire, I think it'd be good to look back and to see people that you have worked with, collaborated with, supported, and they support you continuing to thrive and keep making the society a better place.
Cool.
So, what do you think are kind of the biggest things that you want to get out of the podcast? Personally, what do you want the viewers to really get from it, in your opinion?
Well, because I kind of because I've touched on it previously, but like I just, because I think it's one where, like, obviously podcasts are created to, well, create conversations, and whether it's just a conversation at work, that then can lead to creating change for the next generation too, but just in terms of like a personal kind of point, I just hope that the people that are listening, that like after every episode that they've actually learned something, and also more importantly they've enjoyed listening to it too. Because even though we want the topics to come across as like educational, we also need to remember the people listening are like that like they're not their professional person all the time too. So it's a podcast that I would want people to listen to just because they like enjoy listening to it as well.
I got 2 more questions.
Okay.
And you might have some as well, maybe. But for me is, what is your biggest inclusion peeve? So what winds you up about
What
it?
winds me up about
And what do people do that is maybe really exclusionary or I don't know, annoying or patronising, that kind of goes against what we're doing?
Oh, that's a
Yeah, so for me, I got many. got many.
go on then, go on.
I guess one. So my inclusion beats is when you hear the word but. It's like, we want to include you, but.
Yeah.
I think that but just completely undoes everything that is said before. Because you genuinely mean what you're saying and genuine to encourage. There is no but. That's my inclusion peeve.
Like I suppose, and just to kind of like add to that, is kind of when people sort of, because they're not quite sure how to, they just choose to close it off, like a rather than sort of talking to the person, because I'm not saying this in a reductionist sort of point to the processes and like how certain things are probably a lot trickier than what like I realise, but I think that there are certain adjustments that companies can put into place that are probably a lot like easier than what it kind of like what the whole process then looks like as well.
Yeah. And yeah, I've still got 2 more.
Okay.
So, first question is, I think, you know, I'm not spoken to you about this off camera as well.
Okay.
I think it's fair to say that the way I speak is diverse compared to other people.
Yes.
And I think what you said, or there are diversity is different. Our speech is different,
Mhm.
maybe. More people in society.
Yeah.
Does it really annoy you when people try and finish your sentence?
Yes. Well, because it's really weird you said that, because I think I was at a conference, like in, I think it was Reading, like recently, where someone like also asked us that too, like, and I told that person, so because I think there's a misconception that people, like, they're not they think that like I'm not quite sure what I want to say, but I certainly know what I want to say. There's just an internal communication point that's not as quick as the next person, where it takes me sometimes a little longer, but like also sometimes quite a lot longer, like, because I think it's a case that like my friends, my family sometimes do it because like it clearly comes from a caring point, but it is a case that when that person then says the wrong words, you kind of then look at them, and then you need to repeat the whole thing you're trying to like tell them, but then you get trapped on the word that you were trapped on trying to tell them. So it just takes the conversation like a lot longer than what it would have. So like, but at the same time, it also it really depends on the person too. Whereas like, because like, I can certainly tell whether someone's trying to tell the word because they're just trying to help, or whether the person can't think of a polite. But yeah, whether the person's trying to interrupt me for the wrong reasons. Like so like, personally, like, I would rather people just let me talk, like, because like with my friends and family, like I am very open, and I will just tell them like I am too tired to like talk, so could you place that like order, or like something like that. But I am certainly capable of of communicating too, because I'm interested to hear what parts, like, where you are on that sort of topic as well.
In general, I find it frustrating when people try and finish my sentence. I'll be lying if I said you I get to a stage where I'm like, I just need to checking the hotel and I have to keep with myself or keep asking more time and I might look to a friend or colleague to help get a message across. On the whole thing, it's just about giving people time to build the sentence, but it's having when you're constantly having to battle against barriers, attitudes in society. That's probably what I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm going to sort of boy at a time.
Yes.
I'm also conscious of two things. One is that you are a bit of a diva. And two, we have an opportunity, I think, to make demands of our producer. So I'm wondering if there's something that you want to demand for future episodes of Go Now, because I really want a best practice brother.
Well, because I was promised a like a will that I could read from before coming on the podcast. So at some point, that's certainly a prop that that I would like to see in an episode.
Well, I think you need to get on to your agent and sort out a deal from that.
Certainly.
I'm sorry it's something definitely having like Josh, thank you for being great chat. Really appreciate it.
Same to you, because I'm very much looking forward to all of the random conversations that will come up over the course of the pod as well.
And certainly coming. So, thank you for watching. Again, please share, like, and do comment below and get in touch if you want to hear further details.